Good afternoon, everyone. This is Jared Rand, and welcome to the Global Guided Meditation Call for Thursday, December 2nd, 2021, 3 p.m. Eastern. When a man is born, he is tender and weak. At death, he is hard and stiff. When things and plants are alive, they are soft and supple. When they are dead, they are brittle and dry. Therefore, hardness and stiffness are the companions of death, and softness and gentleness the companions of life. When an army is headstrong, it will lose in battle. When a tree is hard, it will be cut down. The big and strong belong underneath. The gentle and weak belong at the top. Lao Tzu. I'd like to invite you to explore an enlightening little experience today. I want you to feel, imagine, and believe that for the next few minutes you have magically transformed into a wildflower. You are a newly sprouting perennial blossom surrounded by a large open field and a safe, clean, green environment, living deep in the protective mountains. Every morning, you have fresh water to drink from the spring, a full exposure to the glorious sun. You are a gorgeous wildflower with amazing colors, and your main job in this life is to be wild, beautiful, and absolutely free. This level of freedom is powerful, and it means that you'll need to deepen your roots, branch upward against gravity, allow yourself to bud, blossom, and spread your petals as wide as you possibly can to receive all the warm sunshine above. Since your main job in life, is simply to blossom, you might as well enjoy the unique blossoming feeling you receive each day. Don't even think about trying to become more like that huge, magnificent pine tree across the field. Just accept your destiny as being this perfect small green stem in this huge organic field. You may notice at night that the universe is enormous and feel how insignificant, small, and fragile you are. Don't get caught in minimizing yourself. Just focus on your mission to blossom fully and spread your sweet fragrance with a full spectrum of colors out for everyone to enjoy. You can enjoy this life, for you are here. We are all here to experience it all. Our destiny is to experience everything, the totality of this existence, and learn how to welcome all of life with open petals. Our petals naturally receive any light or darkness that is given. When it's sunny, just allow the warm, nourishing rays to reach deep into your core, enter the stem of your tender heart. We must choose to trust the light that is coming into us, as well as the cool, wet nutrients soak into our roots. Allow for both light and dark, and they will provide you with the most healing, nourishing, grounded stability. This is why the caribou and the wolf are one. For the caribou feeds the wolf, but it is the wolf that keeps the caribou strong. Parlement. It's good to know that our real vitality and strength comes from living as close to our mother, nature, as we possibly can. She will provide all of our needs and teach us how to be soft and healthy, yet resilient and strong. Do your best to keep your petals up whenever her dark clouds, persistent winds, or cold hail may beat you down in mid-spring. Just relax and remain deeply rooted in your soil when times are tough. Feel your sweet, deep mother is always there supporting your life. Her dark, rich soil is your home. This is where you came from, and this is where you will return one day again in the future. You may find during the short course of your life, your great mother may bring harsher environmental elements to challenge you. Know that she is trying to stir up your soil so that your roots reach deeper into her secure earth. She might cause a tomato or tornado or great thunderstorm to pass through, and it could threaten to uproot your entire life. Don't take her high-pressure winds or dark clouds too personally. She is just reminding you to remain humble, to know your smallness in this vast universe, so that you can have even more appreciation and perspective on this life. All her soft and hard elements are gifts to balance out your sense of self. This way, you don't get too high on yourself or too low. When you're in the middle, it's much easier to feel one with your mother and see how her entire universe was never separate from you, yet the most important part of you. Other flowers often say it's good practice to not take this short life too seriously or too personally. Just know that whenever your mother was harsh with you, she was only fiercely loving you, trying to make you stronger. Just welcome all her challenges and know they are the essential nutrients needed for you to blossom fully and bear new seeds. It's an amazing skill to learn how to survive under 3 feet of heavy snow. All those heavy times will only make you smile when the light, warm, sunny days happen to arrive. I will tell you, this is yet there will come a day that you'll get to experience what it's like to end, to die. It is 100% certain that all will end one perfect day. The end may come suddenly or gradually. You might be chomped by a hungry rabbit, stomped by a passing deer, or gradually wither away if the wet clouds never come and the rivers dry up. Understand and expect the unexpected. Don't get too worried about any details in this short little life. It is only meant to be a temporary and very adventurous ride. Our wild, free spirits will live on and on and on forever. So there is no need to be afraid of anything. We can stop trying to close our petals and protect ourselves if a bear, a bunny, or cloud passes by. Just enjoy living in the wilderness. This one life contains the best of times and the worst of times. So enjoy it all as best you can. You will survive those dark, empty nights. Just trust that the warm sunshine will arrive when dawn breaks. They say by allowing for every succulent, dark, and light experience to be part of you, the richest and sweetest fragrance is cultivated within. If you should ever get depressed about your fate, just remember that Mother Nature is always here loving you. She gave you life, and through the earth, wind, sun, and rain, she is confirming that she still cares deeply for you. Every morning that she shines her loving light on you, she is wanting you to relax into your roots and know that all is well. You are not some unwanted weed. You are a highly loved, deeply cherished, and totally wildflower. You must choose to realize how extremely special and unique you are. There is no other flowering in the universe exactly like you. Every moment is deeply precious, little wild one, so be thankful for what you have and don't have. If you cling too tightly into anything, you will not enjoy being here. Simply feel into what is hidden deeper within you. At the very center of your stem, at the source of your life, it holds an experience of irrational joy, unfathomable happiness, deep eternal love, and an eternal energy that is independent of any outer cause. This means no change in the weather can affect it. Lastly, please remember that you are a very spiritual wildflower. This great journey into the long winter ahead can inspire you to find your soul's highest mission and path. Try rooting yourself with everything you've got inside yourself, just so that you can blossom fully. You will do well. Your spiritual essence is always here, always flowing, and always available for you. You are forever tapped into the eternal spring of life and always in connection with nature. This is the great spiritual mystery. And you will find all your answers simply by being the amazing wildflower that you already are. Master your thoughts, Buddha. The more creative you become, that we all become, the more godly we become. When our creativity comes to a climax, when each moment of our life is filled with creativity, then we live in God also. The greatest shift that any human being can have in this lifetime is the experience of a full self-realization. What is self-realization? There are many definitions which point to it, yet ultimately it is a fancy word for realizing that the unlimited, all-powerful, omniscient self, who you truly are. This means we must go beyond every idea, concept, and boundary which we've defined ourself to be. Self-realization is an endless journey for each of us, where we not only realize that we are beyond this physical form all day long, yet we have a direct experience of it with everything and everyone. We feel and sense a reverence for the spiritual beings we truly are. That is not separate from this world around us. It is the most profound awakening process one can have, which expands within each of us every moment of the day, becoming an integrated aspect of everyday life. There really is no deeper transformation in consciousness than any human can have than becoming self-realized. The change in perspective is so completely radical and utterly life-morphing that nothing else can compare. Take the most profound experience of your life and then stretch it so it continuously grows and expands 24 hours a day. This is a taste of what self-realization is like. Your entire experience of reality is so different. It's as if you had been an Eskimo living for 70 years in the Arctic Circle, and then one day you decided to pack your bags and permanently move to Hawaii. The reason why it's so important to understand how ridiculously different the experience of self-realization is because it helps the mind drop any possible attempts to formulate a hardened concept about it. What it actually is cannot be grasped by the mind. The more the mind tries to think that it knows what self-realization is, the further you drift away from the experience of it. There is no mental concept in this universe that can prepare you for self-realization, other than a perpetual willingness to surrender into the mystery and curiosity of it. We would all like a formula for a way to live life that is more enlightened and liberating. The problem is that every formula that works once is not going to work forever. All formulas last for a limited period of time, and then we outgrow them. This is because the nature of our consciousness is meant to expand, become more flexible and diversified. It is only through absolute surrender to the infinite universe can self-realization be invoked and gifted to you. This level of surrender means you're inviting in the feeling that anything is possible, which means you must let go of just about everything you've known to be true. It's not easy to let go of our beliefs, yet it is the only way we will ever find the experience of being truly free. To identify oneself with the body and yet to seek happiness is like attempting to cross a river on the back of an alligator or Montmorency. To begin this seemingly impossible spiritual quest for freedom, all begins with inquiring into the source and center of who and what we actually are. When we relax, meditate, and dive into the center of ourselves, there we will first find the mind and its stories about us. The infinite experience of us is behind these thoughts. It comes from diving into the center of our presence, our essence. And there you can go into it for infinity. There is always another experience within the center of each experience. Eventually, this is how we become centered within our spiritual essence. In this life, it is always the most random, expansive feelings which redirect our attention away from who we think we are and towards rediscovering our unlimited creative source of consciousness. If we notice, whenever we talk about ourselves, we usually refer to the words me, my, or I. When we feel into the experience of me, my, or I, what do we notice and perceive is there? Look for a long period of time. You must be infinitely patient with this inquiry because it is the first step towards uncovering the real you and is vastly deep and transforming. The longer that you can imagine that you can maintain a focus of inquiring who or what I am, the faster you will realize the shocking truth of who and what you actually are. So try this. Imagine that who you are is contained within a small dot inside the circle. Put a circle, right? And a small dot. The small dot is the self you believe you are. This means everything which you have identified with that can be written down on paper. Your name, your friends, job, your gifts, physical appearance, your attitude, personality, the way others see you is all part of your identity. The dot represents your mind with all the information stored inside it. As well, your emotions, memories, beliefs, every piece of good and bad information inside your physical body. Everything you know to be true, about your reality, is contained within a tiny dot. The circle around the dot represents everything in our future we have yet to see, experience, know, and learn. It contains our intuitive higher self. It says who and what we are, includes the ego, mind, and body, yet also welcomes everything beyond it as well. Meaning you could find yourself knowing who you are is not just your body, yet anything around you. You could feel yourself to be a tree, an animal, plant, person, the sun, moon, star, planet. You could extend your idea of yourself into anything and everything in this entire universe. The circle represents every piece of information you don't know is on Google, as well as all the buried ancient history books and Akashic records throughout time. Now, if you look closely at the circle, you'll see there is an outer circumference where the black edge meets the pure white background. This white background can expand into infinity. This edge represents the edge of the unknown and is where the experience of self-realization is found. We must not only let go of identifying ourselves as a body-mind, yet also be continuously expanding our sphere of what we know is the unknown and surrender to the unknowable. We can call this infinite white expansive space God, love, consciousness, source, or any word that works for you. However, the truth is that there is no word large enough to describe this boundaryless container which allows for everything in the universe to play upon it. This is the great mystery of life, which every mad scientist fights with to understand. Yet the mind will always be too small of a container to get it, to fully experience and realize who and what we all actually are. We must release anything that can be known with the mind and surrender into the infinite mystery behind it all. It is in this direct relaxation into our foundation that we find our spiritual connection and our boundless infinite potentiality. We instantly realize that we are a spirit being who is beyond this body, beyond time, beyond all places, shapes, and forms. When you judge another, you do not define them. When you judge another, you do not define them. You define yourself. Wayne Dyer. By living everyday life, on this outer edge of infinite possibilities, we become rooted in the deepest truth of who we truly are. We experience enlightened relationships with everyone in our lives because we see they are also a part of the mystery living in this great unknown. We then become this ever-growing expansion of godly experience that is always increasing in love, joy, and curiosity. When we find this infinity within us, where all thoughts and forms abide in, we can rest in a state of pure consciousness. It is from this resting within the core of our real selves where we can effortlessly allow everything to be in perfect order, seeing the divine as orchestrating the universe to blossom exactly the way it needs to. The experience of self-realization can come and go in an instant. We don't need to meditate for 40 years to get it. It all begins with the choice in each moment to let this go of any identification we have with this body-mind and exchange it for a more expansive experience of this life. So it's partly pure intention and part total surrender. We must choose to go from thinking we are a limited human being and many problems of this world to knowing we are on a great spiritual journey through an unlimited life. This leap requires absolute risk and trust, as the nature of the mind-ego identity is to try to cling to the old. It wants to find security in that which does not change. Yet everything of this world changes. The only thing that does not change is the infinite background. And the only way to real freedom in this life, or any life, is through changing our perspective, when we can shift from thinking, I live in the body, to the body lives in me. Our reference point to me, myself, and I is expanded. We are no longer imprisoned to just the body and mind. We realize we are the unknowable. The identification with who we are is then found in everything. We experience life beyond the known and unknown circles of information we think are there. Self-realization is huge. However, it is not too huge to experience it in our daily lives. For it to root and be real, we must choose to be willing to practice integrating this expansive perspective on a physical level. We must choose to find complete relaxation with all the feelings, memories, ideas of who we are now, and everything that we will become. It is through the deepest acceptance of our small self that we can expand into our unlimited selves. We are forever going to be this tiny dot that is also expanding into the infinite universe that exists around us. This is life. We have no other choice yet to accept it and relax into the unconditionally loving and accepting divine background, blackboard, that is behind it all. Man cannot discover new oceans unless he has the courage to lose sight of the shore. Andre Guide. So if you will, go to the place where you're not going to be interrupted, and I'm sure that we all are, and the first thing that we care to do, relax that body that you are in, or that it is in you. Relax it. Head to toe, inside and out. All the time relaxing the body, you're focused on the breath. In through the nose, out through the mouth. You let everything drop away. Is there anything that really serves you the greater good? If it doesn't, leave it. Let it go. Empty it out. It's like you've got a box of old things that you haven't used in years, and you blow the dust off of it, and you open it up and say, I don't need any of this. It's not going to do me any good to have it. And you dump it all out. A huge release. A complete release. Body goes into a relaxed state. When you start dumping this stuff, we all have it. None of us are exempt from it. We carry it. We're like magnets, superconducting magnets. And everywhere we go, that body, right, that you're in and that the body is in you, and you're traversing this life, look at all the stuff we pick up. Look at all, worry. You get one worry gone. You ever done this? One worry's gone. Next thing you know, another one's right behind it. There's another one there. And if you're used to worrying all the time, then when you aren't worrying, you don't know what to do. You feel uncomfortable because you have nothing to worry about. There's got to be something that's going to happen. I've talked to people who would say this. There's got to be something. Something's going to happen. This isn't going to last forever. There's going to be something. So we manifest it. So when you're in that relaxed state and you are focused on the breath, you don't interact with your mind. You don't interact with your ego. You don't interact with your subconscious mind. You still them all. You see how powerful that is? You still that chatter. All of us have this mind chatter. It goes on 24/7. It never ends. It doesn't stop. But when we focus on our breath and we move into the now, we still all that. We still the mind chatter. It's not there. We're not thinking. We're not interacting with the mind or the ego. We're in the now. We're focused on our breath, the now. This is the only way to remove all of that mind chatter, all of the ego mind, all of those programmed thoughts, tens of millions of them, that float by you like clouds in the sky or a superhighway. And you know how great that is when you can do that? And we all can do it. And you just float. You don't have a care in the world. You're just floating along. You aren't worried. You aren't stressing. You aren't fearing. You may have come across it once or twice in this life so far, where you're somewhere and you're so relaxed, naturally, totally relaxed, and you don't have a care in the world. You're not entertaining the mind or the ego. You just are being. And you're in deep gratitude. And you're just floating along. And there's no worries. It's only when we engage the mind and ego, both illusions, that we start having worries, stresses, fears, anxieties, all of it. And this is a way to practice to not. We choose whether we are or whether we aren't. So focusing on the now is all we have. We don't have yesterday. It's dead and gone. We don't have tomorrow. We just have the now. We don't know when we will leave these bodies yet. You see how that works? To value every single second that we have these bodies. Every second in this physical world, this material world. Value it every single second. Think about it often from the standpoint of your heart-mind. How grateful you are to be walking in that body, with that body. This makes a big difference on our perspective. It changes everything. But how do you stay in the now? Because, we have all those thoughts. And remember, your thoughts, 60,000 plus a day, they come from you. They come and they are projected outward for creation. Thoughts that come into you are not yours. They're not yours. And a lot of us will embrace those thoughts as ours because they seem like they are ours. But when they're coming in, they're not yours. Remember that. Only when you project out a thought, it's your thought. So you got to be very careful because when you embrace these thoughts that aren't yours, you create them into reality. And they're not even yours. And that's how powerful the beings with these bodies are. So you always stay in gentleness, kindness, generosity, and humbleness with yourself. And the highest of the highest high, deepest of the deepest, deepest, purest of the purest, purest, eternal gratitude. Eternal means all the time. Not once in a while, not once a month, not once every Christmas, but all the time. To practice yourself of being in deep gratitude 24/7, no matter what. No matter what goes on around you. No matter what's happening in your life, to stay in the deepest of gratitudes. This shifts everything. And some people might say, you mean tell me that I'm supposed to be grateful for stubbing my toe? Yeah, because you had a toe to stub. There's always something to be grateful for. If you had no arms and no legs, you'd be grateful to have eyes to see or lungs to breathe. Staying in gratitude is omnipotently powerful. It changes everything. And it continually changes everything around you. But sometimes, we all do it, we could be focused on the now. Happily. And then we float off. It's out of the clear blue. We grab onto one of those clouds passing by, a thought that isn't ours, and we just kind of float off with it. When this happens, we can just say, it's not a biggie. I'm aware of it, and that is empowering. I'll just focus on my breath, and I'll be in the now. You do it anytime you wander off. Now, if you witness in front of you, there's three paths. There's one on the left, one on the center, one on the right. The one on the left, and all these paths are they're all golden. Trees branching over the top. So it's almost like a tunnel, but it's real bright because it's all gold and glittery, the bark, the trees, everything. And it's shimmering, and it's absolutely spectacular. Now, the one on the left, which is the past, you can tell it's been used a lot. And the one on the right, which is the future, has also been used a lot. But the one in the center, the now, almost looks brand new, like it's never been used. And this is usually the case. The majority of the civilization either lives in the past or the future. And they ignore the now. The now is very not so often used. And some of us do. We reminisce, we have memories, which are fun, and nostalgia. And we'll go into our library in our subconscious mind, and we'll open up one of the volumes of our lives, and we'll read and enjoy it and reminisce. But we don't. We put the volume back on the shelf, and then we leave. We go on. But some of us stay there. And I don't believe it's on purpose, but some of us do stay there. And we end up taking that past into a future that doesn't exist, and we create that future from that past, and we relive that past and that future. That's why a lot of people will say, no matter what we do, we always end up here. Now, others of us will go into the future, and we all go into the future. We all go in the past, but when you go into a future that doesn't exist, because you're creating that future in the now. That's where we create our futures. So you walk into this void, and you're always asking, when am I going to have the perfect partner? When am I going to have a better job? When am I going to have enough money to enjoy my life? When am I going to have this? When am I going to have that? When is this going to happen? And for some, it gets very frustrating because there's no answers there, because they aren't focused on the now. We create everything in the now. We aren't interacting with the ego mind. We are creating through the heart mind. And then the ego mind, because we watch the ego mind, we don't judge them. We watch them, and we learn how to master them. And the only way you can learn to master them is to be on the outside of them, not on the inside. This is a profound fact. How do you think Lao Tzu did it? How do you think Buddha did it? How do you think Maitreya did it? How do you think Christ did it? Yahweh, Yeshua. So we stay in the now, and we keep practicing it until we're always in the now. And we know that we are not these bodies, okay? We are the God. Now, the body is in the God, right? And the God can be in the body. But we are not the body. We are not the personality. We are not the character. We're not the clothes. We're not the belongings. So when you recognize this, when you identify that, you know that you can view that body anytime you want, anytime you desire. And in the body, when you look into it, you see these lights, and they're going from the bottom of your tailbone all the way to the top of the head. And what are they? They're called chakras. And what does the word chakra mean? Wheels. Wheel. And so these are wheels of light. And they're all different colors. And they're colors not like you'd see here on this planet. They're much more vibrant and deeper. And they're etheric spiritual energy. We, the gods that we are etheric spiritual energy. So we flow through them. And these are connected to all of our memories, all of our emotions. They're connected to all of our tissue, our organs, everything about this body that we are in, around, above, and below. So doesn't it make sense that once the journey of our self-discovery, that we are not the bodies, but we are the gods, that will then open the door for us realizing that we can heal anything and everything about these bodies in a blink of the eye, just by focusing on it. Now, we also know that the soul, right? The God source, the kingdom of God, however you want to call it, is the heaven. We are all the heaven. We don't go somewhere through the clouds to a heaven. We are the heaven. We'll also know that these bodies that we experience are earth. So we are literally heaven on earth. And we're consciously aware, and consciously aware simply means that we are of and from the highest of deepest, deepest, deepest eternal love, and of and from the highest of deepest, deepest, deepest eternal gratitude and peace. We're consciously aware of this. So we know that every step we take on this planet we're creating paradise. Literally. And not only that, we're shining our light 360 degrees, blasting everything, and waves coming out like a rock being dropped in a pond. And you see those waves go out. Flooding, saturating, and bathing everyone. And this light is the God force, love, light, energy. It is our true essence. It is our true being. Imagine that, flooding, creating paradise, flooding everyone with the light that you are, the love that you are. Now, if you were to take a little trip outside the planet, a few hundred miles out, you could look at this planet and say, look at how it glows. Well, even though some of the gods on this planet are asleep, they still glow. And if you look at all the lights around this planet and this universe, you will see that they pale in comparison. So we are literally shifting this planet and the frequencies into a God planet paradise. And that's what it is. We are all gods. We are all consciously aware that we are. We are all consciously aware that we are creating paradise, God planet paradise, to really enjoy the lives while we're in physical form. Now, we also know that our souls, the gods, however you want to call yourself, but not the body, we have parts of ourselves that are asleep. Parts of the gods that we are, parts that are asleep. We have other parts that are awake. So the ones that are asleep are with us always because they're part of us. The ones that are awake are the same. They're always with us. This is all the light energy beings and all that there is, ever has been, ever will be, ever beyond, and forever. And this is in the Googleplexes. One Googleplex fills this entire universe with not even one, sacred square inch of space available. And they come in trillions of Googleplexes from trillions of universes, and all connected. We're all one, remember. Awake and asleep, all one. This includes all the archangels, the cherubim, the seraphim, the archetypes. This includes all the ascended masters, Kuan Yin, Maitreya, Buddha, Lakshmi, Ganesh, Gaia, Saint Germain, Christ, El Moria, Abundantia, Pel, Thoth, Yah, Yeshua. All of our loved ones who have ascended out of body in this lifetime and all lifetimes that we've inhabited. All the inhabitants of inner earth, hollow earth, Agartha, and beneath earth. All the off-worlders, the galactics, the celestials. All light energy beings. Now, light energy beings on this planet, on it, in it, above it, below it, With the eyes that we have with these bodies, we only see 1% of what is. So we don't see a lot of these light energy beings. They're in different light spectrums, ultraviolet, infrared. We don't see them with these eyes. But we do interact with some on a daily basis. And the fairies, the sprites, the elves, the gnomes, the dwarves, the trees, the trolls, the elementals, earth, air, water, fire, ether, wood. Would these bodies be able to sustain themselves without air? Nope. What about without water? Nope. You see how interactive we are with some of the magics? Now, the archangels, they're a civilization that vibrate at a different frequency than we do. That's why we don't see them like we see each other. They have visited us and given us messages in thousands of lifetimes. We don't always acknowledge it. We don't identify it. Not always. But there are occasions when we do. And we identify it usually after we've interacted with them. And we go say to ourselves, that was an angel. Or when you're out and about, you're doing something, no matter what it is, someone appears out of nowhere. And you hear a voice, and you look around. And they say, may I help you? How can I help you? As well, and they just come right in, effortlessly help you with whatever it is. And then seems always this way. You look down, or you take care of something, and you look back up to thank them, and they're gone. Nowhere to be found. Within seconds. They do deliver a message to us. It's delivered in many ways, always has been. Sometimes we pick up on it, sometimes we don't. But the message is, simply put, isn't it magna, glorious, stupendous, spectacular to be alive in these bodies? Every second. And that's bliss, because it is. And it's a deep gratitude. Because as gods, you will, we've all experienced it over and over again. We don't drink, we don't eat, we don't smell, we don't laugh, we don't cry. We don't experience food. We don't have any of those things. Why do you think we get so enticed by wanting to be in these bodies all the time? So enjoy every single second that you inhabit that body and it inhabits you. Now, they can surround any one of us at any one time in the tens of thousands or tens of millions. The reason they can do this is because of their vibrational frequency. They can house a large number in a small area. And if you want them to, all you got to do is ask. And with a blink of the eye, there will be a surrounding all around you. And you'll be experiencing bliss. Now, the Ascended Masters, they have mastered ascension into physical form, and they have mastered physical form, and out of physical form and into pure consciousness, God form. We have ascended into physical form. We are mastering physical form, creating our experiences to perfect our creation. Now, the off-worlders, the galactics, the celestials, we're only familiar with a small group of them. Over 1,000 species travel through the solar system every day. And trillions throughout the universes every day. This group, Pleiadians, Sirians, Arcturians, Andromedans, feline Zeta Reticuli, Nords, Greys, Anunnaki, Draco Reptilian, Golden Pyramid Avian, many, many, many more. But this particular group has been assisting us in our evolution, enlightenment, ascension, freeing ourselves from our own self-imposed bondage and our own self-imposed slavery. Now, in a way, we're all gathered hand in hand, arm in arm, so to speak, in full compassion, non-judgment, non-ego, non-negativity. stillness of mind, gentleness, kindness, generosity, and humbleness, bliss, joy, peace, tranquility, benevolence, prosperity, abundance. And we're all one, and we're all God, and we are all love. And our God force, love, light, energy is in all that there is, ever has been, ever will be, ever beyond, and forever. And it continues to intensify, and it continues to expand. We immediately form a circle of light around the equator of this planet Earth, Gaia, Arya, and this now. This light emanates from the God force, love, light, energy that we all truly are. It is so bright it grays out the darkness of sacred space. It would take 1 billion trillion suns to even come close to its brilliance. And this is the highest of the highest high, the deepest of the deepest deepest, and the purest of the purest purest, eternal love. And we are flooding this planet, all life, the highest supreme values in the universe, nonstop, 24/7. Head to toe, inside now, with this deep eternal love. We begin to ascend above the planet, and we're immediately met with this massive ocean of glitter. To give you a fine perspective, it is like a grand finale of the greatest fireworks show ever created. It is like a massive laser light show and a massive ballroom mirrored globe reflecting light. Except this globe is 1 trillion times larger and 1 trillion times more intense. And it's all combined. Visualize that through the heart minds. Now we're curious, so we focus on the reflective points. And as we get closer, we notice that these little tiny microscopic, perfectly etched mirrors. And so we go into them. And we discover that all of us gathered, all that there is, ever has been, ever will be, ever beyond, and forever, all the gods are teaching each other, no matter how life is housed. Blade of grass, leaf, bark, branch, dog, cat, horse, squirrel, deer, elk, all of it, bear, wolf, coyote, all of it. No matter how it's housed, it is teaching us. It is the purpose. That's how we learn. That's how we expand. We're so distracted with this physical material world that we don't even remember that these are our teachers. The biggest education any of us will ever get is by sitting in nature and just observing. You'll be amazed on what transpires. Not expecting, not looking for anything, but just there, being amongst the life of which you are. We're either teaching, learning, teaching, or both. Always. Never ends. It's fascinating. We're immediately met with the emerald green flaming healing light. This is the column of light that we created to remind us all that we are the power of healing. Then we are met by the violet, blue, purple flaming light of Archangel Michael. This is the column of light that we created to remind us all of our omnipotent power, strength, and resolve. We are then met with the white fire. This is the column of light that we created to remind us all that we are imbued head to toe, inside and out, with a white fire armor. This armor comes from the God force, love, light, energy within every single one of us. And it cannot be penetrated. Cannot be violated, doesn't lose its power, strength, or brightness. And it is such a high vibrational frequency, it's the highest of the highest high, deepest of the deepest deepest, Purest of the purest, purest, eternal love. So all the low frequencies, all lower dark matter, survival matter frequencies, you can't come close to us. If they do, they know that they are ended. So they leave us alone. No demon possessions, no attachments, no lower dark matter, survival matter frequencies. But only you have the power that if you decide to lower your vibrational frequency low enough, through hatred, anger, greed, fear, worry, envy, dishonesty, revenge, you will end up lowering your vibrational frequency low enough to create a breach in your white fire armor, enough so to allow lower dark matter, survival matter frequencies to come flooding in. Then the opportunities and possibilities of demon possession, attachments, all kinds of things are possible. Now, if you do decide to do this, then you're immediately met with a double column of light. The first column is the purple transmuting flame. We created this column of light to remind us all that we can bring in the purple transmuting flame. We can transmute all of these lower dark matter, survival matter frequencies into neutral light substance, sending them to pure consciousness where they are no more. Then following that, the second part of the column of light is the violet ray. We created this column of light to remind us all that we can bring in the violet ray right behind the purple transmuting flame, and we can cleanse and purify the area where these lower dark matter, survival matter frequencies were, sealing the breach in our white fire armor, restoring our vibrational harmony of the highest high, deepest of the deepest, deepest, truest of the truest, truest, eternal love, gratitude, and peace. We are then met with the golden white pink light. This is the column of light that we created to remind all of us, the gods that we are, not the body, that we are the sun, the sunlight. We are the sunsets and the sunrises. We are the rain and the rainbows, the clouds and the sky. We are the trees and the forest and the soils. We are the mountains. We are the oceans, the rivers, the lakes, the streams. We're everything. Everything is us. So the next time that you view a sunset, sunrise, a rainbow, an ocean front, a mountain view, a snowfall, a starry lit night sky, it is you. It's all of us. It always has been. You're the beauty. You're the splendor. You're the divine perfection. That is the God that I am. We continue to ascend above the planet, and as we do, some of us decide to step out our physical form and hover effortlessly above it. If we're carrying physical form, why do we do this? Well, because we can. We come into full contact with this massive crystalline light tower. It's larger than the solar system and beyond. We created this tower. In the center of the column is this massive oblong sphere. In the center of the sphere is a golden white bowl of light. It is surrounded by numerous rings of multicolored light. And they're all sending this massive cloud of mist. It looks like it's electrified. And it's sparkling, and it's shimmering, and it enters, absorbs completely into us. It is like a warm embrace that never ends. And the golden white bowl of light is the highest of the highest high, deepest of the deepest, deepest, purest of the purest, purest, eternal love. Then comes gratitude, peace, well-being, gentleness, kindness, generosity, humbleness, bliss, joy, tranquility, benevolence, great prosperity, great wealth. And we come to discover that all of that is a reflection of the gods that we are. Now, at the top of this crystalline tower, we designed it so the golden ocean can come cascading down 360 degrees 24/7, as it's doing right now. And what is the golden ocean? It is the essence of the gods that we are. It is the highest of the highest high, deepest of the deepest deepest, purest of the purest purest, eternal love. It's flooding us all life, the highest supreme value in the universe, constantly, every single second. Feel it. We are drops of this golden ocean. We also hold the essence of this golden ocean. Golden ocean is the drops of the golden ocean. And the only illusion is separation. We see our meditative sphere at set center circle. We created this sphere almost 4 years ago. It holds nearly 1,700 of our meditations in perpetual motion. They don't die, they don't wane, they don't weaken, they don't disappear, they do the opposite. They continually intensify and expand. All those meditations, hundreds of millions of us, on and off world, focused on one thing, the liberation of this planet. On it, in it, above it, and below it. Gigaplexes of us. As far as existence and beyond. All consciously aware. It's massive. That's why we have a new Earth. That's why the vibrational frequencies are so high. That's why they will stay there. You feel and visualize this. Drink it in. Because it is you. Tapping into the infinite source is not easy. It is effortless. Just be still. Go within. Stay there. Explore the deepest silence you can imagine. Observe the mind. Listen to the thoughts. Soon, you will glimpse the reality. And in one instant, you will understand the most powerful realization of all. Who you truly are. Who we all truly are. After one moment of this, you will see you have the power to manifest everything you think. I'll join you in the meditation and return to close us out. is your mirror. Your response and relation to every being on this planet reflects your inner consciousness. This mirror is always present, always reflecting what you most need to know, allowing you to observe, learn, and grow on your soul's path to angelic development. Take this with you for the rest of the day, into the evening and night and the following morning. And we'll return here Friday, December 3rd, 2021, 3 p.m. Eastern to continue our Global Guided Meditation call, and 9 p.m. Eastern to continue our Reverse Aging Health call.